Well, I'm back in Lincoln again, and I'm outside a building called the Jews' House, and this is where they think that the synagogue was here. We're witnessing horrendous events unfolding in the Middle East at the moment that may well lead to World War III. The persecution of the Jews didn't begin in the back in the with the Jews in Germany, Nazi Germany under Hitler, where Jews were considered a threat to the Aryan race and were murdered in an industrial fashion in what came to be called the Shoah or the Holocaust. But lots of people are unaware, especially British people, because we didn't learn about it in school. My generation certainly didn't anyway. But recently my 10-year-old grandson went to the Holocaust Museum here in Britain, and so it has become part of the school curriculum. You know, Jews were expelled from Britain in 1290 due to the persecution. Yeah, conditions for Jews in England really got steadily worse in the 12th and the 13th century. The anti-Semitism increased, and the violence, particularly the Crusades, after the Crusades, because the reasoning amongst the Catholic religion, the popes, was that they hadn't won the Crusades because they tolerate infidels within their national boundaries, and so the Jews were blamed for not winning the Crusades. Yeah. Jews have been scapegoated throughout history by many different nations, mainly European nations, so-called Christian nations. There are some horrific attacks that took place on Jews in Britain, in England, which shocked me when I found out about it. In 1144, the Jews in Norwich were accused of ritually murdering a baby boy in the way that Jesus had died. They sought safety in the castle, but they were murdered. Jews also were massacred in London in 1189 and in York in 1190, and many restrictions were placed on the Jews in the following years. A child was murdered in Lincoln, here in Lincoln, in 1255, and it led to another blood libel, and 18 Jews were hanged. King Henry III did impose heavy taxes on the Jews, forcing them to claim back money people owed them, which made them even more unpopular. As a result, anti-Jewish riots erupted and hundreds of Jews were murdered. Some cases, the record of the money that was owed to the Jews was destroyed, which made the king very popular with many people. That drove Jews into extreme poverty. And you know something, under the statute that was enacted by the king, Edward I, he did try to force them to convert to Christianity. Some agreed, some refused, many refused. And in 1290, King Henry I expelled all the remaining 3,000 Jews from England. And you know they were forced to wear a yellow sign. So did you think that was just associated with the Nazis? No, it wasn't. And they expelled the 3,000 Jews from England. They were all forced to walk to the south coast and cross by sea to northern Europe as refugees. Many died in the journey, and in one case a ship's captain lost his passengers on a sandbank to drown while the tide rose. Yeah, and yeah, it was reported they told them to call on their God to save them. So it seems to have been a vindictive act. Some Jews did remain even as Christian converts or through hiding their true identity. But nearly 400 years before, it was only 400 years before Jewish community returned to England. So what's going on right this moment as I'm speaking with the bombing of Iran and the bombing of Tel Aviv and Haifa and other parts of Israel.
Or you can order them off Amazon.
As a result, the Ottoman Empire was defeated in 1917, and then the British had the mandate and made the Balfour Declaration, where they tried to create a homeland for the Jews that had been evicted from one country after another. But the local extremist Arab population fought against that. And then World War II came, and after World War II the British had had enough really, and they handed over the mandate to the United Nations, and the United Nations voted in 1947 for a two-state solution. So in 1948 Israel declared independence, but 5 Arab armies led an army against the Jews, and no doubt in order to annihilate them, but they lost. And what we've seen since then is the extremists' attempt to wipe out the Israelis, the Jews, leading again as to what we said, what we're witnessing today in Iran and Israel, and the threat it makes to the entire world. I keep hearing that expression, regional conflict. It's not regional, it's global conflict. It's going to be a global conflict with many extremists living in Western lands. And so it's a horrific history. You know, really and this dates back to 70 CE when the Romans came and destroyed Jerusalem. And after that, and then later on, the Jews were forbidden to go to Jerusalem, and yeah, it is horrific what's going on, and people don't learn from the lessons of history. But whether you like it or not, Israel is not going to allow itself to become the victim of another Holocaust. So for the first time in over 2,000 years, Jews can protect themselves, and it is leading to an extremely unstable world. Yep. So this house here in Lincoln is also the oldest habitable house that's in the country, whereas people have continued living in it since the 12th century. So anyway, that's it.